What is the key to success and happiness in life? Hey, this is Sam. So in this video, let's talk about secrets, shall we? Because we all like to discover different truths. But I'm going to be talking about what I'd consider to be a particular secret, or certainly what I would call a key to life. Because, you know, the more you learn about different things, the more you understand different wisdoms and philosophies, and you really come down to simplicity. Although there might be certain things that you've heard before, it really comes down to the depth of your understanding with these things. So one of the keys that I think, or a particular secret to success in life, happiness in life, to getting what you want, your desires, your dreams, your goals, to manifesting the things that you want in life, is to feel good. And the reason for this is because everything that comes of this, when you're feeling good, what you attract in life, the people, the events, the situations in life, all come from this. And you've probably sensed this when you're not feeling particularly good. Things don't tend to go your way, or, you know, in the opposite way. When you're having a good day, more good things happen, and these so-called coincidences happen, and they're not really coincidence, they're synchronicities. And, you know, this all comes down to us feeling good. But also, feeling good is, and if you're thinking about feeling good all the time, you're like, well, that's not really possible. And that's because most people are comparing themselves to other people, the masses. And this takes a level of self-mastery. It takes a level of emotional development to really get to this stage of mastering our emotions and being self-aware of how we're feeling on a day-to-day basis, or moment-to-moment basis. If you're primarily focusing on how good you're feeling, then you're going to be very aware of how your emotional state is, the causes of that, and things that might be triggering you, people, events. And then you're going to have a level of self-clarity. You're going to have an understanding of the situations you might want to change, whether it's in the moment or more of a long-term strategy. And this comes down to a level of ownership. You know, personal responsibility is something that we always speak about within personal growth, having 100% ownership for the things in your life and the fact that you've created them effectively. And really having this understanding that, and having this ownership that, you know, when we create these things in our life, it's based on how we're feeling. And obviously we can get into more of the sort of the quantum realm to really go down that path. But even if that isn't something you've explored, taking personal responsibility of your situation, and not only that, taking responsibility of your emotions, is something that's vitally important to change how you feel. You know, this is a level of self-mastery. This is a level of ownership of your situation, of your current state right now. And imagine the sort of person you're being if you're doing that, if you're taking charge of your emotions, if you're taking charge of how you're feeling, your level of self-awareness, your level of awareness of others. And, you know, this really leads us on to creating a dream life, because we're feeling good. And when we're feeling good, our thoughts are different. You know, this is part of shifting our identity, which is a huge part of personal growth, of shifting our identity and our self-image. And obviously everything is in congruence with that. We always act in congruence with our self-image. So expanding our self-image is part of personal growth, is part of our transformation into effectively the 2.0 version of ourself. And we can only do this by taking personal responsibility. We can only do this with a level of self-awareness and having a goal, or a key, or the secret to which is feeling good as much as you can. And this isn't ignoring emotions, this isn't suppressing emotions, this is being more aware of them, but actually taking personal responsibility to change them. And then when we're doing that, when we're feeling good, then we get to a stage where our thoughts are different. when we're feeling good, especially if you're a creator or a business owner or a leader, you feel more inspired, you feel more, the ideas are flowing to you. You have more inspiration to do things, you have more energy. So you don't even have to get into the more esoteric reasons for feeling good, such as manifesting and principles such as the law of attraction. Even if that's something you haven't explored, taking this level of personal responsibility and how you're feeling will improve your life dramatically. And just by focusing on that on a daily basis, you're being present. You're not being distracted. All the noise and distractions out there is something that is very detrimental to people's growth, and they're not aware. There's this culture of distractions and escapism. And as we know from much of the spiritual wisdom, being present is a very powerful concept, because there comes with it a massive amount of self-awareness of yourself, of the moment at that time. And by doing that, then we are being present of how we're feeling and our emotions and everything that's going with it. And because of that, then we can take personal responsibility, we can take a level of ownership of how we're feeling, and then taking the best next step moving forward. Not just endless consumption of information, but actually being strategic with what we're learning and how we're going to move forward. And that links into feeling good, because we're going to get the inspiration for that. We're going to be inspired to move towards our goals if we're feeling good, if we're in a good place, if we're creating the situations, circumstances, surrounding ourselves with the right people who are going to facilitate that level of change. And obviously, when we go deeper into this realm of feeling good, of vibrational frequency, of manifesting, of law of attraction, then we understand, of course, that feeling good is going to be a fundamental principle to that. And that is something that is required, because, you know, we know everything is energy. We know that everything vibrates, and the law of attraction is a primary law. So when we are vibrating, what we give out is what we get back. And the more that you're aware of how you're feeling, the more that you'll notice that this is actually the case. You know, that we're, again, if we're if we're absorbed in this culture of distraction, of short-term thinking, this is not exactly what I would call a success habit. And we're not very present. We're not really aware of what's going on. And then certain things might happen. We would say, oh, that's a coincidence. Well, no, it's actually a synchronicity. It's actually a manifestation of the things that we're thinking. Many, many people, successful people, have talked about this time and time again. How thoughts create things. You know, this is something that's talked about a lot. And the more that you dive into this, the realm of success, even some more of the science. I mean, they've been talking about this for a while now, but you know, the quantum side of it, you know, this is how things work, and I'm not here to convince you of that. If that's not something that you want to agree with, then, you know, everyone is entitled to their opinion, obviously. But, you know, the more that I've explored it, the more that I've looked into this, then the more I've understood that this is just how things work. And you notice that these certain coincidences are actually just synchronicities. They're just manifestations of our own thoughts. And obviously, when we are going down this path of feeling good in the moment, then, you know, we can, it's also taking, I forgot what I was going to say now. It's taking a level of personal responsibility, but also that's what I was going to say. It's really the meaning and the context that we are given certain events. And this comes down to a level of emotional intelligence. It comes down to a level of self-mastery. Two different people in the same situation will give different meaning to the same event. And, you know, again, this comes down to our thinking. You know, your previous conditioning, your surroundings, who you've been brought up with, what's normal. the normalization of a certain situation. And obviously, as you grow, you raise your standards, and higher standards with what is possible, and your inner level of belief increases. But, understanding that your thinking will give you the meaning that you give a certain event or challenge. Someone else might not find that challenging, and that comes down to your thinking. And obviously your reaction will, or depending on the meaning that you're giving that certain event, will come from that. And that's obviously comes down to a lot about if you're feeling good, right? So this is a very powerful concept, and it's very simple, but again, it's to do with the depth. It's to do with the depth of understanding how much you've actually implemented this and actioned this in your life, how much you're very conscious of how you're feeling. And this is something that I do on a regular basis. I look into how I'm feeling as much as I can. My self-awareness increases, my emotional development increases, my level of self-mastery, my understanding of different events and how I'm viewing them in the moment, not afterwards. Sometimes that happens, but in the actual moment increases. And then, when you get into the realms, like I said, about manifesting and really taking ownership of moving towards your goals, then obviously this is a very powerful concept of controlling your thinking, what you're thinking about, and how that's actually creating your life. And obviously that comes down to our level of personal responsibility. So, this is a very simple, like I said, simple but powerful concept. And to me, I think it's one of the keys. It's one of the secrets. And yes, it's not particularly something new effectively. And some people have a bit of a struggle with, I can't feel good all the time. It's not so much that, it's how quickly you get back to feeling good. And that comes down to practice. Like anything, it's building a success habit. It's building a habit for success. It's taking personal responsibility, and it's a level of emotional development that comes with that. And, to me, it's really digging deep into these concepts. That's the thing, so that really have the biggest impact. And I think that the longer that you're on this journey of expanding yourself and your knowledge with these different wisdoms, many of them have been around for a long time. You listen to some of the spiritual masters, they talk about concepts that are quite simple, but we can only hear from our level of consciousness that we are currently at. So we don't always hear them. Not everyone will hear the same message in the same way. So that shows you that there's a depth of knowledge to even very simple concepts. And it's very important that we continue. We follow the people who we seem have wisdom, who have experience, who are successful in the realms of where we want to go, and we follow those people, and we don't get distracted by the different noises out there, and we don't get distracted by what most of the masses do. Follow successful people. That's what they do, and many of them have talked about and written about thinking. Thinking is very powerful, and feeling good as much as we can. So I think I'll leave it there for this video. Thanks for watching. If you've got any comments on what you think the secret to life is, or whether you've had an experience with thinking and feeling good and how it really has a huge impact on you, then drop a comment down below, and I'd love to read those. And I'll catch you on my next video.